So when people are approaching you to help them design products, or maybe when you are negotiating for product design for a company, what do you usually look at first?
I look at the mindset. You can, well, at least myself, I can tell a lot by how what they know. They know, do they know the numbers? Do they know the business model? Do they know what essentially what they're doing? Is it's what their vision, their goal is? Are they self-aware?
For you, what really make a good product?
How to use what I already had to win games, and I was shocked everybody every time I've come home with first second place all the time, and everybody like, well, how'd you do that? And it wasn't until later that I can tie it. I want to say those are two things, just off what I'm thinking now, that I see ties to what I do now, because that's I got into a field that is dominated, heavily white male dominated, and taking on something that people said that is hard to do. And then uh, what was the other one? Taking on something that was hard to do, and technique. I learned how I don't need to, because I don't have a bachelor degree, or I taught myself, and I have been very successful. And and how I did it was focusing on techniques of UX, because it's like a recipe to the ingredients to a recipe. Okay, it doesn't matter the box or the store you get it from. If the ingredients are bad, then the cake is going to be bad. So the technique of how you put the ingredients in and how it's baked, that's all that matters. That's how why these mom and pops stores get lines down the block, because you don't have to be Mrs. Field in order to, sell a good cookie. You need just a really good technique and really good ingredients. And that's what I learned from sports, that I tied to equatally to UX.
All right, great, great. So when people are approaching you to help them design products, or maybe when you are negotiating for product design for a company, what do you usually look at first?
What did I look at first? I look at the mindset. You can, well, at least myself, I can tell a lot by how what they know. Do they know the numbers? Do they know the business model? Do they know what essentially what they're doing? Is it's what their vision, their goal is? Are they self-aware of things? How they position themselves to the problems that they're using? Are they in touch with that, or they have other motives? That's some of the first things I want to discover when I first talk with businesses or companies. And then from there, I know how to handle, how to go forward, whether it's, and then the maturity level. Sorry, that was another one. The maturity, there's something called the UX maturity. So, how mature are you with the users of your product or services, or the customers of your product and service? How in touch are you with that? How how often do you involve them in the actual makings of what you do in your product and services? How frequent you communicate with them, with the cycles of development and other things that you're trying to get done, not just on a product level, but also on a business level, things like that. So those are the things that run into my mind, and I try to get answers to in the beginning.
For you, what really make a good product? Okay, now you design product, but you want I want to believe that you know what is a good product and what is a bad one. So let's start with a good one. What makes a good product from the point of view of design?
Is real simple. A good product is one that solves a problem. That's in a nutshell. Okay. If it solves the problem correctly, it solves the true root problem. because then it does what the intent was. Because people are not just making product and service just to make product and services. I mean, granted, there's some out there because of the way their mindset are, but in essence, the reason why businesses exist and services are there is because a human being, an actual person, has a problem that they need to have solved. And design and all the like, design, whether it be interaction, whether it be motion, whether it be UX, is all tools to that end to help in the mechanism, which is the solution to the problem. So a good product will solve a problem well, and it makes it extra good if it solves it so good it is unnoticeable that you go through it and you don't even realize how, like the checkouts at the airport, how now that we don't even think twice about it, where before it was such a drag to, you got to meet the person, you got to, check, you got to stand on the line, you got to, hand the person your thing at the outside. And now it's so automated where you don't even think about it. You just come to a terminal or check online and you can check in that like that, because it's solving a real problem that was a real big pain point. So that's a good one. A bad one is the opposite. It not only does not solve the problem, it makes you hate that you gotta go through it. Now, I know government websites are trying to get up there. Okay, there's been some really good strides in them trying to meet the needs of folks that have to do it. But it's always those types of sites where you have no choice. You have to go through it, whether it be renewing your driver's license or getting healthcare insurance. It's those sites that nothing makes sense. They use their own terminology. It just makes it such hard, and you just trying to get to the finish line of this thing so you can just call it done. That is what I would call a bad product and a bad experience.
Thank you so much for that. I'm curious. Was there a time that you were sort of learning how to design a product, learning the techniques of designing the product, and you were learning from somebody? Can you share something about that?
Actually, I have because I'm an avid life learner. So soon as I found out about, at the time it was called LinkedIn Learning. I mean, not LinkedIn, Linda. And before LinkedIn bought Linda, I did a lot of online learning from their platform. And from there, I started learning about the other practitioners or leading UX designers in the field. So most of my mentorship, if you will, has came through online. So people like Joe Natoli, who's been doing it for over 30 years. There's another one lady called Jane Porter, Portman. That's her name. So I'll go back. Joe was my biggest inspiration. Joe Natoli, like I said, he's been doing it over 30 years. He has a lot to share. He even have his own UX 360 program now. But I like how he approached it with a no nonsense practice.